good?
Yep. Make sure.
Then we'll get started.
Yes,
So first of all, thank you for allowing me to do this. I do think it's important. You know, some of the things I want to cover today are really, I always say we're, you know, as a village, we're going to have problems that land in our lap. That's just what we deal with. A lot of the things we're going to cover today are the simple things that we don't want to do wrong to kind of self-create our own problems. So what we're going to talk about today is open meetings, public records, ethics, and then for the new people here, I mean, has anyone had this thought of, wait a minute, now I'm on council, can I get sued or can I be liable for anything? Just to ruin the ending, the answer is no. You can't. As long as you do your job as a council member and that's all you do, you're fine. I have in the past had certain council members, I don't think they do this anymore, who wanted to help with kind of the day-to-day activities of the village. We don't get to do that. As council, I always like to use the analogy, we have a boat, you six are up in the top of the boat pointing which direction we go, and then the mayor and staff are the ones who are down there rowing. So as long as you are the ones pointing and not getting down in the weeds, there's no way from a liability perspective anyone will ever get to you. So, in case you're ever wondering that. When it comes to open meetings, and you have my handout there, you can read at your leisure, it'll probably put you to sleep. What Ohio law mandates is that any decision you made be made in a public meeting, period. Now, I will tell you, just listening to that last discussion, you made my head hurt. And let me just tell you, so under Ohio law, there's really two types of meetings. There's a regular council meeting and a special council meeting. Committees really are kind of a thing that people use that just create confusion in my mind. But if you want to do them, more power to you. I will tell you, anytime the six of you are together, it is a council meeting of some sort. You can call it whatever your heart desires. You want to call it a committee of a whole, or you want to call it a committee meeting. The answer is, it's a council meeting, period. Most likely, in that case, it's a special council meeting, but it's still a council meeting. It doesn't change, just because you call it something else. So anytime four of you are together, we have a council meeting, period, end of story. You can call it a committee, you can call it whatever you want, it's a council meeting. And at least by Ohio law, and the mayor actually read the statute, you know, the mayor is the presiding officer of any council meeting, special or regular, period. Does that make sense?
No,
Okay.
because, so a meeting of the whole, I know you don't want to get caught up in semantics or whatever, is a little bit different. In our rules of council, it specifically addresses what a meeting of the whole is. Now, I don't debate whether it's all council members are there. I do agree that it's a meeting that all council members are attending. But we do specify in the rules of council, supported by ORC, the difference in a council meeting where you're allowed to talk the 3 minutes and you can't address someone in the audience unless they addressed you. You can only speak twice. That's all very specific, following the Roberts Rule of Order. Now, but a meeting of the whole is where, say, we're doing our budget, okay? So yes, all the council is there, but everyone is allowed to work a situation back and forth. We're allowed to talk to each other. We're allowed to talk to him. We're allowed to debate. It's different rules than a council meeting. So I think by you saying they're all council meetings could muddy the water a little bit for us.
No, I see what you're saying. You treat them differently. I'm just telling you how the law treats them.
Okay, but yeah,
Under the law, they're all council meetings, period. And they'd just be, in that case, they would just be special council meetings. That's how the law looks at it. What you call them and what rules you decide to put in place to govern how those work, more power to you, however you decide. Don't care. That falls into not a legal question. So I'm just telling you, when we start differentiating, it kind of makes my head hurt because the law doesn't dive into these categories. And where it gets really tricky, and the part where committees actually scare me, is they give us a lot of opportunities to do things wrong. So we know that anytime we have a council meeting, anytime I have four of you together discussing public business, it has to be noticed and minutes have to be taken. Committee meetings, we're getting to a lot smaller numbers. So what do we have, 3 council members on a committee? And then the other part about the committee that I don't understand is, I know Courtney's on there, but is she on there as a committee member or is she on there as in essence, a scribe?
she's a scribe.
Okay, so she's not a member of the committee. So we have a committee of 3 council members. That scares the ever-living crap out of me. I hate the idea of it, because if two of you have a conversation outside of the setting, we have violated the Open Meetings Act.
About that subject.
Correct. And it's just, it's a recipe for problems. I mean, that's why I always tell people, if you're gonna do committees, 3 is a terrible number, because 2 people can't talk. And if 2 people do talk, potentially you're violating the law. So, not my favorite.
So you're saying like 5 would be a better number because then 2 people would legally be allowed to,
Let me ask you this, and I don't, if you all wanna have committees, I could care less. My question is, the thing I don't understand about committees, you don't have authority to do anything.
You brainstorm.
You can't make a decision.
Yeah.
All you can do is make a recommendation to council. I mean, you can have committees and have 50 meetings, I don't care. I don't understand the purpose of it, though. It's just, you have and if it's not all of you discussing, when the committee report comes to council, then don't we have to kind of relive what happened at the committee so that the rest of council knows what's going on?
Right.
Well,
I just, like I said, that's not a legal question. The legal part of it that bothers me is 3 members scares me, because like I said, if 2 of you start trading emails, or if 2 of you meet and discuss something, or 2 of you call each other, theoretically, we can have a violation of the Open Meetings Act, because it's now a majority of the committee, not a majority of council.
Excuse me, Stephen?
Yes.
So that being said, would it be fair to realign the committees with I get it on the committees except for finance, streets, and,
Well, first of all,
Yeah.
how you want to set your committees up, I don't care.
but should we just have 1 representative on the committee?
That is up to you.
I mean,
all.
wouldn't that be safer?
Well, no, but see, here's the problem. If you, let's say you have 1 representative, I'm assuming you're saying the rest of the committee would be staffed.
There would be no committee. If something comes up, like, I'll use Parks and Rec. I have started something that I hope we continue annually, called Party in the Park. So I would come to the whole of council and I would say, I would like to start planning.
Well, you'd have to come to the whole council ultimately. anyway.
Right, and I would ask them if
You
I can,
can't spend money until they
right,
say
if
so.
I would ask them if I could form, volunteers from the community to assist me with that. Is that something I would do?
Yeah, you would come to all council. I mean, frankly, you couldn't go to a committee and get that answer anyway.
Right.
Because the committee doesn't have authority to tell
Right.
you yes.
Right,
I mean, like I said, I'm worried about the legal side of things. And the legal side of things is,
interesting.
in a committee of 3, 2 is bad.
Just don't have them.
That's what scares me. Yes.
yeah, we get that. You explained that to us several years ago.
Yes.
Why you don't like committees. But again, we'd almost have to start our rules of council completely over. The reason we have committees, and again, I'd love to see, the rules of council from other areas, but the reason we have committees is because, let's say, yeah, you're discussing, we used to have a safety committee, and you're discussing, a guy that wants to come in and run our sheriff's department, okay? So in our rules of council, it says that we send all big questions to committees. So committees can discuss them, and then they can vote at committee level, and then send it to council. And the committee chairman would say, Nathan would say, hey, at committee, we voted to bring this to you, council, and this is why we decided we like this, and this is what we didn't like about it, so we're proposing this ordinance here, and then all of council would get to make a decision. So, I mean, again, several times in here, it does refer to why the committees are here, and that we cannot long-term discuss things at council meetings, because our council meetings would be 5 hours long.
Well, but if you add up all the time you spend in committees and
Mhm.
it's to council,
What
nothing's
matters.
getting there anyway.
Yeah.
Like I said,
Mhm.
listen, I'm not telling you to get rid of committees. I'm telling you with a committee of 3, you have to be very careful.
Right.
with all your things.
Right.
Period.
Now,
Just keep everything in committee, or?
that's something I have a question about. So let's just assume we're gonna keep our committees of 3.
Okay?
Okay, Park and Rec, good example. We have a movie night, okay? So they're discussing the movies, and then Joyce and Nathan are both on that committee, and when they're not in here, he says to her, oh, that movie's gonna be funny, isn't it? Now, is that violating
No.
this? Okay,
No, there has to be a discussion of public business.
Public
public
business,
Like
business.
planning wise or
Okay.
something like that?
But the problem is, public business is fairly broad. I mean, what the law in Ohio does, the law is very straightforward in that they expect every decision made by a public body to be made publicly. And that includes not just making the decision, but discussing the decision. An offhanded comment like, hey, the movie would be good, don't care. That's not discussing it. However, if you two start talking about, well, maybe next week we should do whatever movie. And now are we discussing public business? We probably are. Because that's not, that's a committee decision or a committee recommendation. It's gonna, committees don't make decisions. You don't have power to make decisions. So you just have to be careful. That's the only part that scares me. And like I said, I always thought 3 was the worst number ever for a committee. And as you said, I bring it up every year. It still scares me.
Can I ask you, how many councils
On all of them.
are we your only,
Oh, no, I
I don't
represent, so I'm law director for the city of Grove City. I'm assistant law director for Dublin. We also represent Hilliard, Pickerington, Canal, Winchester, Powell, and a couple others I can't remember.
out of all those, how many of them have the committees that,
Like real committees?
like actual committees?
Very few. We just don't do them anymore. In Grove City, we have committees by name only, like if you're in charge of the lands committee, that just means you're reading the lands legislation by title, and you have meetings with staff to get updates, and you come to council and share them with everyone. They don't have real meetings. Now, the only difference is, on your committee list, you also have planning commission and board of zoning appeals. Those are creatures of statute also that everyone has those. So all of my committees have those, so I don't want you to think, oh, we don't have those. But
And then on those committees, how many out of what you serve, or that you're over on the legal side, how many of those have 3 or 4 or 5? Like, how many members of council do they actually have on them?
One, I think.
generally, I mean, most of the committees slash boards and, commissions, whatever you wanna call them, I would guess in most of my communities, it's a majority of residents, not
It's not, okay.
I've been on council now for, well, I feel like Methuselah, but for 14 years, and we've always had 3 committee members, going back. So as long as, as long as it works, I guess.
Yeah, as long as it works.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
That's your call, not mine.
Okay,
I'm just
that's
telling you
what I
where the
thought.
legal pitfalls are that we gotta avoid.
Okay.
And I may be jumping ahead here, but, so, to make a quorum, like where we would violate the sunshine laws, I hear what you're saying, if 2 people would be discussing that topic, village, that would be, but it has to be 4.
And council,
Right, I'm saying if, let's say we were over at the Mexican restaurant eating, okay, and there were 4 of us,
yes,
and we started talking village business, and that's a no-no.
correct,
If there were 3 of us, it's 4, it's a majority, correct?
correct.
So 3,
You can do whatever
Whatever.
your heart desires.
4, okay, I just wanna
And
make sure
by the way,
that.
there's, and I don't wanna encourage you from not spending time with you. The 6 of you could go to dinner
Right.
and not violate the law as long as
Right.
you don't start talking about village business.
Right,
And there's gonna be times where you're all together outside of this setting, whether it be
An event.
a party in the park, whether it be something like that. That's fine. Just
Right.
don't discuss public business.
right.
And you're fine.
So we can, all 3 people on that Parks Committee can go out to the park and
Yeah.
set up the tents and,
Now, once
do all
again,
that.
see, now
Yeah.
you changed though. Now you just said the Parks Committee, which is
Council.
a committee of 3. So now 2's a problem.
but not to set up the,
Not to just, set you're right, setting up
to
would be
set up the
fine.
tents and put up the
Yes.
screen.
Correct.
That's all fine,
That's
because they're not discussing and trying to change village,
They're not discussing.
okay,
Yes.
okay.
Isn't this fun?
Well, I thought that's how it was, but sometimes it gets a little gray.
Understand why your head hurts.
Yeah, well, that's, but like I said, the committees, it just, to me, it's more potential
Just make
for
sure you keep
things.
it all in the committees.
Yeah, it's just potential for things go wrong. Because, I mean, it's hard not to just want to pick up the phone and talk to one person. And usually you would think talking to one person can't be a problem, but in a committee of 3, it's a problem. So that's where you just have to be careful.
Okay.
So every decision you make, every decision the committee makes has to be done in the public setting. There are exceptions to this. We do have the ability to go into executive session where it is confidential. I know in your rules it talked about if you violate confidentiality, you can be censured, which I still don't know what that means. So
Right, what does that, you get your hand smacked or
it's
what?
like a do better letter.
Yeah.
Okay.
All it is, it doesn't really mean anything.
I will tell you, disclosing
embarrassing
confidential
factor.
information that you have received in executive session is actually a crime. Now, have I ever seen anyone charged with it? No. Knock on wood as I say that, but disclosing confidential information is a crime. Now, that only applies to you all. If you were to invite someone into executive session, like you took these 2 back with you, then there is no restriction on them keeping their mouth shut, which is why you never invite
didn't know
anyone
that.
to executive session, period, end of story.
Yeah.
Now, if it's a legal issue, you gotta drag me back, and you have to take the mayor with you, but you don't have to take Courtney with you, nor frankly should you, for those discussions. And we don't have those.
So we don't have to take the mayor for executive
We
sessions?
do take the mayor.
Oh, you just said,
No, I said don't take Courtney. Yeah,
okay.
The mayor goes,
Yeah.
and the lawyers.
I thought you said that we should, like we had the option
No,
to
you
not.
don't. No, the mayor, you don't have the option. Courtney, you have the option, and you should say no. And that's nothing against Courtney. There's nothing she can do back there. You don't take minutes in executive session, other than we went into executive session to discuss this one topic, which is one of the 6 or 7 you're allowed to under the law. But the only other thing that gets weird with executive sessions is some people think, well, everything we talk about there's confidential. Yes, we just said that. However, if we were to hand out like paperwork to you, just because we hand it to you in the executive session doesn't mean that's confidential. Then we have to look at the public records to figure out whether that would be exempt from disclosure or not. So executive sessions are fun, but yes.
So, we've had, since I've been on council, started my 3rd term, we've had so many different ways that we have had like interviews for jobs.
Yes.
Okay, used to be, we would interview, I think you've called them, I don't know what you referred to them, but some positions, and you've told us, let your mayor do that. Let him handle all that. You guys don't need to go and interview for a,
Yeah.
Right, right.
Low level, yes.
I didn't know how to word that, to be
Yeah, I was
nice.
trying, I don't, it's not disparaging to say
Right.
entry level position.
But with that said, like, we've had several different ways. We've done interviews for like council members.
Exactly.
We have had them come in here individually and just talk to them one-on-one. We have had them come in front of all the council and talk to them, and we have also take them in executive session and talk
Yes.
to them. So what is the correct way?
Any, whatever you decide.
Okay, so if we take them into executive
Session.
session, a council member or the village administrator, we did that way. So they are allowed to come out and talk about what happened in there.
100%,
Okay,
but you can't.
okay.
I know Becky and I have been through every one of them situations, well, haven't we?
Yeah.
And we never which one will
When it comes
be.
to hiring, you can do it anyway. The only thing I would caution you on is, if you bring them in one at a time, there's nothing to prevent the other ones from coming in and sitting.
Right.
Because it's an open meeting.
But we can just,
Yeah,
okay.
executive session's the only way you can do a true one-on-one. But once again, as you correctly stated, that person isn't bound by confidentiality, only the rest of you are. So, yeah, so that process is what you want it to be. I've seen it done every way. You know, normally, when you're hiring for the higher level position, like you talked about village administrator, there's some paring down that's usually done through an executive session process where you're interviewing people, and then the finalists will come to more of a public setting to then do it. But there's no wrong answer there. Hiring's up to you guys.
Okay, and the same way with, I thought I glanced at this earlier, like discipline, like, let's say, I thought I read where some of this stuff can become public record if you're administering, where did I see it? Not that, I don't think, like, I know we technically hire and fire, but like all the stuff in between, he does.
Yes,
Okay,
that's correct.
okay,
Yes. And frankly, almost everything in a disciplinary file and any documentation is going to be a public record.
right, that's what I thought I read.
Yeah, I mean, there's some stuff that's exempt, like I fired a police officer in one of my communities, and someone requested that person's personnel file. Now, there's things in the personnel file with their, medical history and stuff where that doesn't get sent, but everything else is public record,
Okay,
so. Other questions? Open meeting's pretty simple, like I said, 4 of you are together, we're having a council meeting, and we're gonna do it correctly. So,
I do have a question, please. So hypothetically speaking, if we approve the rules of council the way we, with our edits tonight,
Yeah.
we move forward, let's say, when we get organized and we start having our committee meetings and things get settled down, we want to readdress possibly scaling down our committees to 2. Can we readdress it?
100%, you're a
so said,
Okay.
yeah. as
So
long
it's
as you have
no-
4 people.
yeah.
Your rules, as long as 4 of you agree,
Yeah.
you can do whatever your heart
Yeah.
desires.
So we can take all of the council, or all of the committee meetings hypothetically down to 2 people, then we never have to worry about
No, those 2 people would still
Kid.
violate.
They,
Yeah.
that's
It-
even
it-
worse.
It would be, yeah.
2 is bad, 3 is really bad, or 2 is really bad, 3 is bad.
2's worse than 3.
Well, yeah, there's no.
Okay, but then if we go to 4,
We don't wanna do that.
you don't
either.
want to do that either.
Well, if you go to
I just
4,
think leave
now
it
the
where it
question
is.
is, do we have a council meeting going on? If you go to 4, you might as well go to 6, because 4 in essence is a council of the whole.
It's
Council
a
of the whole.
majority.
Yeah.
According
It's-
to
You're
three
having,
don't-
you're having a
don't-
council meeting.
Council
Yeah, if
meeting.
you have 4, you have to have all of us.
Yeah,
Right.
if, yeah, so you're gonna do 4, do 6.
So it doesn't make any sense to make any changes to them at all,
That's your decision.
if you're going to
I'm-
keep committees.
I'm only
I say
telling
get
you
rid of
that
most of 'em.
when we keep committees and if we're moving forward with 3, we just have to be careful.
Sure.
That's what I care about.
Sure.
All right, any other questions on open meetings? Pretty simple. Public records, I will tell you that 99.9% of the documents that you see, hear, or touch in your job as a council member are most likely public records. There are, right now in Ohio, we start with the premise that everything is a public record unless there's an exemption for it. I think 14943 has like 56 exemptions written into it. Most of them would not apply to stuff that you see. So I will tell you right now, any emails that you receive, any emails that you send, anything you put in writing is going to be a public record. Now, there's certain exceptions to that. For example, if you, let's say during a council meeting, you start jotting yourself notes just to remind you of things and whatever, things like that that are used to reflect your recollection are not public records, so those are your personal notes. If you start writing notes to each other, which I think is one of the more horrific ideas I've ever heard, that would be a public record. And that isn't just writing, that would be texting, that would be anything. Any document, and document is stupid broad. Document includes writing, it includes anything done electronically. Anything like that must be saved. So if you are communicating with each other, or the general public for that matter, using electronic means, you have an obligation to save that and keep it, because we have to keep it for the whole retention period, whatever that is. So be careful with that. I especially caution you if, on social media, you know, because you may think, hey, I have a private Facebook page, and I don't let people get it, but the moment someone gets on there and starts discussing public business, your mind should be like, oh shoot, I have to save this. And you do. It's your responsibility. Now, when you get emails from like the mayor or from Courtney or someone with a mountsterling.org email address, at that point, you're like, okay, I don't have to keep it because they sent it, we know that we have it somewhere. That's fine. But when you get stuff from the outside world, through social media, through email or whatever, you have to think, oh wait, I have to save this. A lot of times, I always suggest, you know, copy a village email address on stuff, not so they can be nosy, but just so we know it's in our system and that we have it if we need it. Because, you know, if something happens and you keep all your emails on your computer at home and it gets nuked, and someone comes and asks for those emails and we can't produce it, we're gonna play statutory damages and attorney fees. And there is nothing worse than, you know, especially when your budgets are tight, when it's like, hey, look, we just cost the village 5 or 10 grand here because we're stupid. And it happens. Like I said, most of this is self-created problems we want to avoid. The other one that scares the crap out of me, text messages. Text messages are records we have to keep.
Yep.
And if you destroy your phone, lose your phone, you and I both know, practically speaking, those messages live somewhere. However, I have tried to subpoena them, and the companies are like, yeah, we don't have them. It's like, I know you're lying to me, but they ignore subpoenas, so we could not reproduce those records. So if you lose your phone or break your phone, those are gone. If someone starts asking for them, it's gonna cost us money.
You're up to correct man.
So be careful with text messages especially. Let me see what else we got. I know there's some important stuff.
Can I also add something on there as public record?
Yes.
Okay, so, and you have told me this several times, and I somewhat don't listen. And then I've also been told by the state auditors that I put too much information in my minutes.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
So minutes.
So I just wanna maybe clear that air because
Yeah.
I
So-
have always done that this way, and the minute that I stop doing that, it's gonna be a problem for some people.
No.
And I look
so-
around because I feel like the more information, because it's not she said, he said, I always say voiced or stated.
The more you want
Yeah.
minutes to be a dumbed down version of what happened. And I don't know about you all, but have you ever gone back and watched yourselves on the video and be like, God, I sounded like an idiot? Yeah, I mean, we all have those days. I mean, I used to do depositions where you're under oath asking questions, you get done with the deposition, you're like, damn, that went well. And then I get the transcript and I read it and I'm like, you are a babbling moron. So it happens. The minutes have to be just enough to give the general public an idea as to what occurred. You do not want verbatim minutes, ever, because trust me, Courtney will do her best to make you all look good, even when you say something stupid. And two, you want it to be general. You do not want specifics in there. You want it just to be the bare bones of what occurred. Now, the ironic thing is, the minutes are the only official record of this meeting, period. I don't care if the video lives forever. The video is not the official record of the meeting. The moment you approve the minutes are the only thing that counts. So, I'm telling you, keep minutes generic. You do not want them detailed.
So should
because-
you say, and I'm sorry to interrupt, so should I say, okay, Melanie voiced that she did not like Courtney's red shirt? And say that was just a topic of
No, I
what it
would
was,
say there was general discussion amongst council regarding,
Courtney's red shirt.
Courtney's red shirt.
Okay,
I wouldn't get specific.
I know, and I
Discussion.
do,
It's
a lot.
not, I don't like it.
Okay, I don't
Now,
either, and I just,
Can you have verbatim minutes? You can, but you will all look stupid. We all would. No, it's just saying you. I'm talking about me, the mayor, because we all say dumb things.
Oh, we all do that.
And trust me, I can't tell you how many times I've gone back and watched the council meeting like, God, you're an idiot.
so it shouldn't be a debate, so like, say Courtney does,
No, if they're
she
engaged-
doesn't like Melanie's
No, if-
jacket.
if these two are in a debate with each other, you could just say there was discussion amongst these council members.
So it wasn't what she thought or what he thought.
No.
It's
just
nothing like that.
discussion,
General
discussion.
general
Oh
discussion.
my gosh, like that's,
You want
It's
to
gonna make your life
Save you
easy.
some time. Question, okay, so, Courtney, I know, like Courtney's here, she's only a part-time employee, and she's here after hours and blah, 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 and does a lot of writing. Now, you're saying that recorded meetings are not a record.
They cannot be the official record of the meeting. That's
So,
correct.
same way with a committee meeting, like, she has to be there and take minutes?
Someone has to be there 10 minutes.
Okay. And in
Every-
our rules of council, it's her.
Every
So,
public meeting requires two things: a notice of the meeting and minutes, period.
right. And we can have them recorded.
You can, but at the end of the day, someone's gonna have to at least put something on paper.
Yep.
Because you can't approve the recording as the official minutes.
Okay.
It has to be
but according to your rules, it does have me as the secretarial script.
someone has to be. I don't care who
Yeah.
it is, but someone has to be because minutes have to be taken at every public meeting.
Okay, but to add on to what she's asking, is in the rules of council, it states, committee, Parks and Recs, let's just use that. It has the mayor, 3 council members,
And you.
a resident, and me. So I would be required to be taking those minutes.
Well, it
Because
says
it
it,
states
it does say
Someone
it
would be.
Yeah.
in
And
our
see, I
rules of council.
assumed, when I read the minutes and saw that you're on every committee, I assume you're there as more of
Scriber.
a scriber and a
Yeah.
helper, like I would be. I don't add anything to committee meetings, but if you had me come, it would be because you wanted me to, I would be there for legal issues, period. So, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Other questions? But just remember, when it comes to the public records, what I care about is if you receive things. Now, if you get stupid mailings for, junk advertisements and stuff, you don't have to keep those. If you get a catalog for office furniture because you're in council, who cares? But if you receive emails, if you get notes from residents, if you get people send you letters, they still do that apparently. We have to
do
keep
here.
we have to keep
Very
them.
much.
And we have to keep them for whatever our retention period says, and I'm looking at our retention period, right, we tell you that those are all requirements.
So if a council member, or if a community member in the middle of a snowstorm, because this happened a couple weeks ago, different ones, texting me saying, hey, they didn't get this, can you get that? And then I text, so we should keep those for, do you know the length of time? Because that,
I would have to look to see.
It was 5 or 7
correspondence.
years.
That's too long. We
Yeah.
should change that.
you,
Most
That's why
general
we have a big room of
correspondence,
records.
We usually set that at either like 1 year or until no longer has administrative value. If you think about, and some of you are too young, but we used to have phone slips you get when someone left you a message. And you get the phone slip, and yes, we've created a record, we have a phone slip. But once you call them back, you don't keep the phone slip anymore because it no longer has administrative
Oh,
value.
we do.
So,
We do for a fact, I know that.
huh?
Yes, he does. We do that for a fact.
she keeps her phone slips.
We do.
He's telling you you don't have to.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
until
telling
that,
you-
until records,
Well,
the
but
retention
The
schedule
retention
changed.
schedule has to say
So-
We
either
use
a
most things,
period
too.
and/or no longer has administrative value. If you add that, then you can get rid of it.
Which it
once
does.
you've used them.
It
But
does
yes.
say that already.
I got a question about the social media side.
Yes, sir.
Because I feel like that's the biggest thing now, is
Yeah,
everything
it's
social media or
easy to
texting.
screw up.
So if there's or let's say, the current events page for the village,
Yes,
if there is a post on there that, let's say, Mick over here puts something on about, he doesn't like such and such about the streets or such and such about the town, and I chime in on that,
that's fine,
but it has to be kept, because it's,
correct.
okay.
And not only that, let me tell you where the problem becomes. You chime in, you chime in, you chime in, you chime in, you. Once I have 4 of you on that post,
Ooh, it's a
someone's gonna
public
say,
meeting.
wow, it looks like council just made a decision. And that would be a meeting without having a meeting, that's bad. So I would caution you all, and I'm on your current events, Mount Sterling page, I read everything, because I always wanna know where stupid's coming from, I wanna know. But I just would caution you, you have every right, by being on council, you are not giving up your First Amendment right to participate in any discussion your heart desires. However, I cannot have 4 of you on a single post or on a message thread where you're
If we're
all-
talking to each other.
It doesn't matter. What happens is, let's say I have a post, I put it on the current events, and I'll say, hey, I hate the street lighted, whatever. And then you get on and say, I do too, and then you get on and say, yeah, that thing's terrible, it's gotta go. You do the same, you do the same, then the people are gonna be like, well, shit, it looks like they just made a decision, because a majority of council just made this. And that's what we're trying to avoid.
Well, and then on top of that, if the person who made the post didn't like the conversation and they deleted it, if you don't have a copy of it, you can get in trouble.
Yep.
That's
And from my understanding, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, if we make a post about any village business of any sort, whether we resign or whatever, we are not allowed to have anybody blocked from that.
It gets really hard. So you can have, what we have done with most of our communities, you can have this is on your page though, so if it's on your personal page, blocking people gets you in a lot of trouble potentially.
Right.
However, like for I'll give you a great example. When Facebook first started, which tells you how old I am, I had a community who, they were like, we're gonna do Facebook. And we're like, okay, this will be fun. Literally, we know how bad it was gonna be. So,
It was
the
terrible.
first post was, come out to the town for this event on Friday night. And we posted it, and we're all excited. And then literally, the first response, the first comment we got was a gentleman explaining why he would make a great date for the evening based on the size of his manhood.
Oh,
Ooh,
And we're all just sitting there like,
scoring some points.
oh shit. And so we have terms of use on all of our pages, you know, we don't allow profanity, we don't allow, tax, et cetera. I will tell you, those posts we do remove, but I still require us to keep a copy of them in case someone asks for them. But yeah, so where it gets weird is if you in your official capacity start blocking people, someone's gonna make the claim that, hey, you're violating my First Amendment right.
Yep.
Now, will they win? Probably not, but is it a pain in the ass and can it get ugly? Yes.
Will it cost the village money?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's the thing is, and once you put a post out there in whatever form you want, I mean, I read yours about you summarized the last meeting. Great, you can do that every day of the week, it's fine. But now you have to keep that, okay? And you can always comment and say what your thoughts of what happened was. I do caution you on social media, be careful, because not any single one of you has the right to say, council thinks this. You could say, my opinion is this. Now, you could say, council decided this, because we voted on it. But just be careful that you're always just speaking from your own personal perspective, not council as a whole.
I do want to add, I think we should also caution making future predictions on how votes are going to go down.
I absolutely 100% agree. So how the world works, from your perspective, is you have to vote on everything in a public meeting. In making that decision, the information you get should be in that public meeting. So, like, let's say we have a zoning coming up, okay? You should not say, I'm against this, or I'm gonna vote no. Because frankly, you haven't even had the presentation yet to know what it is. And once you predetermined how you're gonna vote, then the applicant is gonna be like, wait a second, I don't feel like I'm getting a fair shot here, and they're gonna raise some type of either due process claim or something like that. I mean, you could say, I'm not a big fan of these, I can't wait to hear what the applicant has to say, or I can't wait to get more information on this project. But anytime you're, in essence, pre-deciding an issue is a real problem. Because you don't have all the facts yet. And
We have
until
to,
you do,
sir, we have to be awful careful then what we do express on that then.
you have to be very careful. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in now where, you know, and you will be under a microscope. I mean, for you newbies on council, I mean, have you realized that you no longer have a life anymore? Because you can't even go to the grocery store without people wanting to come talk to you.
I've had a
about
life
village
for
business.
14 years.
So, I mean,
Well, there's a
you have-
lot that gets discussed, like even here,
I'd
like
like
when
to go
things
to
get put on social
local
media,
grocery store.
people will
Right.
actually say things about like the behavior of council.
Oh, I know.
I mean, I hear
Oh, I
probably a
read,
dozen times.
like I said, I've been
and
on
they-
the current
they
events
talk
page
about that.
forever, and
Yeah.
I read all of it. It's just like, some of them make my head hurt.
It's even dangerous for me to walk in
Do a lot
Walmart
of people on your
sometimes.
council, do they put on, cause our platform is like current events, which is not supported by
Right,
the
it's not
village.
But it doesn't matter. Once you start discussing public business, you know, you're acting as a
Yeah.
council member and doing it.
So I have a question, like, our last mayor, Marcy, she did like a mayor's report. She'd
Yes.
just get on there, and it's usually all fluff stuff, good
Mhm.
stuff. And if there was a boil alert, she might throw that on there and
Yep.
stuff. And then like, I see like the mayor of London, for instance, was talking about, you know, reminding everyone before that big snowstorm hit, make sure you park this way, make sure this is the legal way for this, and, you know, and I see those kind of posts all the time. Like Andy doesn't do that,
Mhm.
which is his prerogative, but there's no rule against it.
That's correct. You can do it. Absolutely.
Okay,
There's nothing that would prohibit you from doing that. That's a personal choice for whoever is the mayor.
okay. And same way with council,
And
obviously.
Same with council. You just, with council, like I said, you have to be careful with my opinion, or I think, just don't rope all of council into whatever you're saying, because you don't get to make that decision.
Right, okay.
And if we wanted to have like an official village page, then that would need, I mean, it would be on us to vote on something like that, and then would we need, that's
To be
just,
honest with you, the village outside of you all could set up a village page. They don't need you all to make that decision. If Courtney and the mayor, or one of them decided we're gonna have a Facebook page, they can do it. Now, do you want a Facebook council page? I don't think you do.
Yeah.
You just want one for the village, but they don't need you to do that. And then we would put rules and conditions in place in terms of, no profanity, no spamming, no blah, 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 just to make sure that people use it correctly, for assuming people use it correctly, which they don't.
yeah, but that would be another obligation on somebody else to have to
That's correct.
maintain and
Someone else would have to
Yeah.
maintain it and have to deal with it. That's correct. Yes.
asking.
Other questions?
We're running out of time. Can we cover, real quick,
9 minutes.
moving on,
Yes.
define what conflict of interest?
Yes, that's next. All right, so the third section in this is ethics, and that's really conflict of interest. So what Ohio law tells you is, A, you only can get paid by the village. You cannot, as a council member, get paid by anyone else for doing your job. I always tell people at Christmas, someone might drop off like a box of cookies to thank you for being a council member. My suggestion is bring them over to Village Hall and just put them in the common area where everyone can get them, so it's not a benefit to you. If if anyone gives you like gift cards and stuff like that, you should not accept them. You know, once again, you can bring those to the village and we can give them out as prizes at events or something. That way it's not a additional benefit to you.
Are you talking about like just a community member? Like
Yes.
if this is your best friend and she lives
If
in
your
Mount
best friend,
Sterling?
I don't care about it,
Okay.
that's fine, no.
Okay, okay.
But if it's a community member, if they're doing it because you're on council,
okay.
not because you're my best friend of 50 years.
It could be, sir, could that be counted as a bribe, man?
It could be, yes, and that's where you run
Whoa.
into a problem. So the conflict of interest is you cannot receive any personal benefit from any outside third party, period, ever. I would strongly recommend if you go to lunch with people to talk about village business, pay your own way. Now, under the law, there is a de minimis exception in terms of it's not that much, it's fine. The problem is, no one knows what that number is. Everyone thinks it's like $25, so $25 it works. The law doesn't actually say that, that's just what people think. So I would say, if you're going to lunch with people and discussing public business, do not let them pick up the tab. Pay for yourself. If someone wants to give you tickets to an event or something, write a check for them. And that's the one time where checks are still good. I don't know if you young people have checks anymore.
I
But it
appreciate you
documents
acquainting
things.
me with that young person.
You know, so if someone says, hey, I have tickets to the sheriff's ball, we'll give them to you as council, the answer is no, I have to buy them. Now, can the village buy a table? Yes, and then they can invite you, but they shouldn't give them to you directly. Does that make sense?
I have a
I
question.
believe
This-
Mayor Jerry Springer found this out the hard way.
Yes.
I have a question. This-
Governor Taft also as well,
Free
yeah.
golf.
Let's say I'm eating at the Golden Corral in Chillicothe, and a resident from Mount
That's
Sterling
oddly specific.
recognized me, so I'm gonna pay for that guy's dinner. So I say, you just get away from me?
You should not let anyone pay for your dinner.
Well, I ain't got to, I just want
Even
to
if,
know.
even if he's not discussing
Well,
business?
even I'm not doing
If
business.
it's someone who has
Somebody sees them.
potential to have business in front of the village.
Right, but if it's just a congregation member of his church,
Yeah, that's why I go to church, I was like, well, there goes a steak dinner, so.
He can buy the church.
you're getting
If a vendor brings it in, like they give him free mugs and things, like you'll see him in the kitchen.
Yeah, just.
Learn something
We always put them in.
Okay, so,
But conflict of interest, so you also are
Wow, didn't
prohibited
know
from
that.
making any decision that would benefit you personally and or a family member. Family member is usually defined as someone who lives under your roof regardless of blood relative. So, anything that could personally benefit you, yeah, mother-daughter creates fun. Like I said, I've had husband-wife, I've had mother-son, I've never had mother-daughter. But frankly, the rules are still the same, it doesn't really change, it's just you can't make decisions that would benefit you individually, period.
I can see where,
And like, that's for, like, under Ohio law, you're prohibited from raising your pay, you're not allowed to do that. You can raise the pay for future council, so it'll take 2 election cycles to catch up to everyone. Let's say you decide, do you guys have insurance? Do you have insurance? Like, you could get insurance, but you couldn't do it now, you can only do it for
Future.
future
Future.
councils. Because that would be an interim pay review, which is prohibited.
how, so I know your feelings on committees, we won't rehash that, but say, you hold one role with one organization that also meets at that committee level,
That
and
is
you're
not-
voting on it, but, you know, like, say you're
Yeah.
president of the youth league, and now you're on the Parks and Recs committee who serves
Yeah,
to
you
make
got-
decisions on that.
So generally, how the rules work is you are prohibited from accepting a benefit to you. If you were there on behalf of an organization and the money just goes to the organization, then that generally is not gonna be a problem, but those get really specific in terms of, you really have to look at each situation specifically. Because someone could make the argument. And here's the other thing about ethics laws and any of these laws we're talking about it, we all know that violating the law is bad, duh, everyone knows that. The problem is the appearance of impropriety, even if you're not legally bad, the appearance is just as bad. So you just have to be careful with those, because a lot of those situations like you're talking about, like youth league president, I mean, they're gonna get the money anyway. So the question is, should we set up in a way where you're not part of that process, and not you, I'm just saying in
Yeah.
general, so that then someone can't make it an issue for you. And there would be times where it's like, hey, should I vote on this? And like at the last council meeting that I was at, you know, someone asked, hey, what about, can you vote for her as council president, et cetera? And I said, no. And I can always give you, bounce those
You
ideas.
said yes, like, that she could.
Yes, that's what I meant, yes. I'm sorry. Yes, so, I mean, but I will always do that. If you need an opinion, then I can either put it in writing or show up and say, no, you can do this.
Right.
Okay.
But in that way, it just kind of covers you if someone then raises the issue saying, oh, you did this.
Yeah, yeah, there was an instance with, when she was building a house, getting water or sewer or
I
something, or
remember
not getting it, and I abstained, and you said, Becky, you can vote. And I did, because,
It wouldn't directly impact you.
Yeah, it wasn't directly you. Yeah, those get weird. I mean,
yeah, so
each-
just ask, right?
Anytime those situations arise, call and talk me through it. And, at times I'll give you an answer, and then, I talk to the Ethics Commission probably once a month. I know their staff attorneys real well. I bounce ideas off them. My goal is to make sure that we don't cross any lines as a whole. I mean, I ain't your personal lawyer, but anything you do wrong reflects on the village, which is what I am, who I do represent. So I will always help you through your
So,
decision.
are you saying any of us are allowed to give you a call at any time with our questions? Okay.
I can't stop you.
But just make sure.
Well, you
what
could
I-
not answer.
Well, what I caution is, make sure what we have in our budget and know how much he costs to answer those questions.
Yeah, I still need to never bill you guys.
Yeah.
I suck at that.
Well, I'm just saying that that's a part of my responsibility, is just to
Yes.
make sure that when we are reaching out, that we understand what that budget is.
We have 1 minute till the top of the hour, so.
Really need to take a break.
Okay, well, you have my handouts there, which goes into a lot more detail. If you have questions, call, we can chat about it.
I need to s- I
Thank
need
you.
to see
We'll
it.
adjourn till 7:05.
Mistake now. I
Get
didn't
my packets.
So I was, Sunshine Laws, and on the Ohio Attorney General's website, it says that everyone is required
Stretch my legs a second.
to take a training. Every elected official.
I would assume that's what.
How's the marshal doing?
Ohio Sunshine Law training.
Have gun will hire?
I have a question. So I was looking at Ohio Sunshine Laws, and no,
It's really
not
long.
quite.